What's up, guys? Welcome to the Metal Roofing Channel. Welcome to Q&A Mondays. I'm Thad Barnette. Today, we are talking about the new Atlanta Ordinance for solar reflectance and cool roofing requirements. So if you live or work in or around the city of Atlanta, there's some new code requirements for cool roofing, and we're gonna talk about how that impacts the metal roofing market, the shingle roofing market, and what that means for you as a builder, architect, manufacturer, installer, even homeowner or building owner. It will kind of affect everyone in those categories in the city of Atlanta. So to help me out today, I've got Mike Marsh from the Sheffield Metals Acworth branch. Thank you for being here, Mike.
Thank you, Thad. Thanks for having me.
So you're the branch manager in the Acworth area near Atlanta for Sheffield Metals. So you kind of deal in that, both commercial and residential space for standing seam metal roofing. So, you kind of deal with customers that are, going to be right in the middle of, kind of dealing and adjusting to this new ordinance from the city of Atlanta. So talk to me first. Tell me a little bit about what's changing here and what is this cool roof ordinance that Atlanta is going to be adopting?
Yeah, so the city of Atlanta has decided to add a section on their building codes, and it's specific to roofing reflectance. Right, so this is kind of a new thing, and the idea is to reduce the urban heat island effect in a lot of the urban areas. You got a lot of pavement, a lot of buildings, not a lot of vegetation. So in an effort to combat that, Atlanta is really kind of following the lead on major urban hubs like Los Angeles, New York City, and decided to implement this. The idea is to provide an ordinance that calls out roofing materials that provide a cooling effect, less reflective roofing materials.
Okay, yeah, and so like you said, this exact language was kind of taken from a California ordinance that Atlanta is now adopting for both low slope roofing and steep slope roofing. Basically, they're mandating what the minimum SRI requirements and solar reflectance requirements are for building materials. So there's a different number for low slope, there's a different number for steep slope. And basically SRI is just the combination of how a roofing system reflects the sun's energy back into the atmosphere and how quickly it releases absorbed energy. So tell me how metal roofing kind of fits into those new requirements.
Right. So while Atlanta's Cool Roof Ordinance doesn't specifically call out metal roofing as the preferred material for your roofing, metal roofing is actually very conducive to these efforts. We've been in the cool roof game for a long time. One of the great sellers of metal roofing is that it's so energy efficient. The SRI values are fantastic. So this really plays kind of right into our specialty here, providing cool roofing on both commercial and residential projects. So on this ordinance, they're calling out steep slope roofing is anything greater than or equal to a 212 pitch. When you look at the 3-year aged SRI value that Atlanta's calling out here of 20 or greater, virtually all of our colors, with the exception of one color, Preweathered metallic, meets this standard, either equal to or greater than that standard on most of our colors. You're not going to have any issue at all going with a Sheffield Metals roof in the city of Atlanta. Maybe even the better part of this is, traditionally you've been told, hey, you need to stick with a lighter color. You need to go with a white or something like that to keep the SRI value lower. We have tons of options. You can go a dark bronze, you can go a matte black, and you're still meeting this ordinance. We're able to offer you much more variety in your color selection. You can meet the ordinance, and we've got the documentation to back that up so that you can provide that to your contractor or to the city, and it makes for an easy project.
So with metal roofing offering those cool roof properties, that's definitely going to give people an option in the Atlanta area to meet code, right? So talk to me about how this might affect the shingle market and the shingle options that are out there today.
Traditionally, I think shingles are a lot more prevalent in residential projects than metal roofing. With this ordinance in place, there's only a handful of shingles that are actually going to meet these SRI values. So it's not going to be just your run-of-the-mill builder grade shingle that you're able to go with anymore. It's going to cause you to really need to do your research before installing a shingle roof. By and large, a majority of these shingles are not going to meet these codes. There are some that will, but you're going to have to do your homework, your research, and make sure that you're using a product that is approved.
And when we look at commercial projects, can you talk to me a little bit, why else is metal roofing a benefit to commercial projects, beyond cool roofing, right? Maybe a builder or a building owner wasn't really looking at metal roofing, but now this ordinance is forcing them to consider metal roofing. What other benefits do they now have if they go with standing seam?
Well, if you go with a standing seam metal roof, obviously you're going to meet the ordinance, but you're talking the longevity of doing a metal roof instead of a shingle roof, right? So you're getting your paint warranty, which will protect you against the peel, crack, fade. You're looking at less chalking and fading over time. It's going to last quite a bit longer. I mean, the list goes on, right? Class A fire impact rating, you name it. But I think ultimately, it comes down to sustainability. It's the recycled content on steel can help you if you're working on like a LEEDs project. Really, the big takeaway is you're meeting the SRI rating and you're getting the longevity of a steel or aluminum substrate with a painted finish.
Yep. So what advice would you give to a metal roofing contractor, installer, architect on, educating the end user on the cool roof ordinance here in Atlanta, and how metal roofing can help them achieve those numbers?
It's important when you're educating the end user to really focus on the why the ordinance is in place and how their roofing decision is going to impact that. When you're selling these jobs to an end user, you want to stay within the boundaries of this ordinance and you want to offer the highest quality roofing materials that you can. And I think metal roofing is a no-brainer there. We have the color palette. You can literally choose any color you like, still maintain these ordinance requirements, and you're getting a solid metal roof.
And, with Sheffield's colors and Sheffield's products listed with the Cool Roof Rating Council, it's really plug and play. As you mentioned, Preweathered Galvalume is the only color that does not fall on that list of approved colors within that SRI value that meets that 20 or above on steep slope roofs. Yeah, you're right. That Sheffield product can really plug into any of those projects.
Right. And when it comes to the low slope roofing, I mean, when you're talking about less than a 212 pitch, I mean, you're almost talking a flat roof at that point. By and large, that's going to really address most of your commercial projects. On a pitch under a 212, you're going to be looking at TPO, PVC type roofs, and a lot of those products will be able to maintain these ratings as well.
So if someone is looking for the SRI values for Sheffield Metals colors, where can they find those, Mike?
So you reach out to a Sheffield representative in your area. So we have those values published on the back of our color cards. So you'll see a stock availability matrix, and it's going to tell you all the stocking colors and widths. Next to each color, you'll be able to find the 3-year aged SRI value as well as the SRI value. So that's an easy reference for you. If you don't have a color card handy, it's posted on our website with all these values. Really easy to find. And
the 3-year aged SRI value is the one that the Cool Roof Ordinance from Atlanta does reference.
That's right.
So the city is calling out the 3-year aged SRI value, not just the initial SRI value, because the age number really shows the longevity of how long that roof is going to remain reflective. So the initial is the SRI value measured the day it's installed, and the 3-year aged is 3 years down the line. They just want to make sure that the SRI values aren't going to tank, immediately after installation. So that's why they're calling out the aged value.
Right. Yeah, they just want to make sure that these are going to hold well into the future.
Yep. Which is a hallmark of standing seam metal roofing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Mike. So as we're wrapping up here, what's some final thoughts you could share with everybody?
So really appreciate everybody tuning in. The main point of this video is just to bring awareness to this ordinance that's been put in place. I want to mention it's very important that you do your research. You can jump online, read the ordinance yourself, and if there's anything we can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Awesome, Mike. Well, I really appreciate the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Thad.
Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comment down below or visit SheffieldMetals.com. Subscribe here to the Metal Roofing channel. As always, I'm Thad Barnette. We'll catch you next time.